Good morning. My name is Adeline Marchini. My pronouns are she, her, and I serve gratefully as president of your board of trustees. Thank you. Mi nombre es Adelina Marchini. Mis pronombres son ella y sirvo con gratitud como presidente de su junta directiva. I want to give a special welcome to anyone who is joining us for the first time this Sunday. It can take courage to walk through the doors of a church or to invite this service into your home. We are glad you are here with us at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Welcome to everyone on our online church campus. Welcome to everyone joining the service later on Facebook or YouTube. Welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Avenue church campus. We are one congregation in many places. Somos una congregación en muchos lugares. We are a proudly progressive religious community. Within this congregation, you are welcome no matter your race, culture of origin, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. Those of us who are neurodiverse are welcome here. You are welcome no matter your level of formal education or the amount of money you have. Your disabilities are welcome here. Those of us who are lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, non-binary, gender fluid, or simply too fabulous to be captured by any word are welcome here. You are welcome with or without documentation. Son bienvenidos con papeles y sin papeles. As Joan Javier Duval writes, whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth, however it is with your soul in this moment, you are beloved and welcome here. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. Our Alluvial Avenue campus sits on the traditional homeland of the Yokuts people, who are the past, present, and future stewards of this land. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced occupation and the ongoing impact that exists today. If a joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude is in your heart this morning and you want to share it, you can text it to us and we'll include it later in the service. Text the number to 559-337-3772. Again, that's 559-337-3772. Be sure to include your name so we know who the text is from. You can also share in the chat box. Now, in our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary, in the chat box, or in the silence of our hearts, let's take a moment to say buenos dias and greet one another.
Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Hey, how's your mom doing? Oh, for the 8th principal? Is it the 8th principal day? Oh. Yes. I tell you, it's convenient. I did that drive twice this week, and I'm like, oh, no.
Buenos dias. Mi nombre es Timoteo. My name is Tim. My pronouns are he, him, and I serve gratefully as minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Today's service is entitled Never Turning Back: Diversity, Growth, and Inclusion. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't believe differences should be eradicated. We believe differences are our strength and something to be celebrated. In that spirit, let the sound of the tingsha take us to that place we are joined, body, spirit, with love.
Two, three, four.
The corruption, injustice, the same crimes, always a problem. If we do or don't fight, we die, we don't have the same right. What is a gun to a man that surrenders? What's it gonna take for someone to defend us? If we all agree that we're equal as people, why can't we see what is evil? I can't breathe. You're taking my life from me. I can't breathe. Will anyone fight for me? Oh, 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 oh. How do we cope when we don't love each other? Where is the hope and the empathy? How do we judge off the color the structure was made to make us the enemy? Praying for change cause the pain makes you tender. All of the names you refuse to remember. With somebody's brother, a friend, or a son to a mother that's crying. See, I can't breathe. You're taking my life from me. I can't breathe. Will anyone fight for me? Oh, 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 oh. Will anyone fight for me? Trying times all the time. Destruction of minds, bodies, and human rights. Stripped of bloodlines, whipped and confined. This is the American pride. It's justifying a genocide, romanticizing the theft and bloodshed that made America the land of the free. To take a black life, land of the free, to bring a gun to a peaceful fight for civil rights. You are desensitized to pulling triggers on innocent lives, because that's how we got here in the first place. These wounds sink deeper than the bullet your entitled hands could ever reach. Generations and generations of pain, fear, and anxiety. Equality is walking without intuition, saying the protector and the killer is wearing the same uniform. Revolution is not televised. Media perception is forced down the throats of closed minds, so it's lies in the headlines and generations of supremacy, resulting in your ignorant, privileged eyes. We breathe the same and we bleed the same, but we still don't see the same. Be thankful we are God-fearing, because we do not seek revenge. We seek justice. We are past fear. We are fed up taking your crap because you think your so-called black friend validates your wokeness and erases your racism. That kind of uncomfortable conversation is too hard for your trust fund pockets to swallow. To swallow the strange fruit hanging from my family tree because of your audacity to say that all men are created equal in the eyes of God, but disparage a man based on the color of his skin. Do not say you do not see color. When you see us, see us. We can't breathe.
Wow. That was an amazing song. I really like that. Thank you. Hola, buenos dias. Hello, good morning. My name is Jamie Jones, and my pronouns are she and her. I serve gratefully as a member of your worship arts team and the annual pledge drive team. If you have a candle or chalice with you on our online campus, please bring it close as we will be lighting it soon. Our chalice lighting words come from Tess Baumberger, and I hope you will join your voice with mine in response. As we say these words, imagine we are saying them to every person on our alluvial and online campus. Our response is, this place would be less beautiful without you. Can we try that together? This place would be less beautiful without you. Perfect. Can we try that one more time? This place would be less beautiful without you. So let's say it together. This place would be less beautiful without you. Your heart honed by hardship, grief, illness, seeking solace and comfort here among us. Together we say, this place would be less beautiful without you. Filled with joy and gratitude, seeking celebration of life's bounty. Together we say, this place would be less beautiful without you. Curious, inquisitive, asking questions, seeking transformation, emerging from within. Together we say, this place would be less beautiful without you. Striving to resist a world that tells us we are so much less than we can truly be. Together we say, this place would be less beautiful without you. This place would be less beautiful without each of us, gathered here in this morning to seek love's fire in each other's souls. Our own flame rising to meet. One last time together we say, this place would be less beautiful without you. In this spirit, please light your chalice or candle at home as Lisa lights the chalice here on our Alluvial Avenue campus. Let us now rise as we are willing or able to join in our song of praise, The Fire of Commitment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Please remain standing as we say together our mission. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated. So I invite us together to take in a breath. And as we do so, imagine we're just breathing in peace. We hold a moment. We breathe out love. Again, we breathe in peace and breathe out love. One last time together, inhalamos paz, exhalamos amor. As we continue breathing together, the sharing of breath uniting us, I invite you to imagine that that breath can carry you back over the last week, the last 7 days of living, a gift we remember not everyone received this week. And as your breath rests on the week that has been, a question. In the last week, was there a moment when you were unskillful with your words, thoughts, or actions? Knowing that, what word or intention would you like to carry with you into your new week? Each week we acknowledge that we are this beautiful combination of complexity, of joys, of sorrows, of concerns, and gratitude. We make space for that. Some of us stop at the small table at the entranceway to our alluvial sanctuary. Others, from the beauty of our online campus, text or send in a chat what's in their heart. Today, Linda Kay is full of joy, and I can attest to that because I saw your smile as you walked in this morning. Thanks to all who attended Lorenzo and Linda's first ever indoor backyard concert. You remember how hard it was raining yesterday? If you enjoyed it even half as much as I did, says Linda, you had a pretty good time. And our wonderful board president, Adeline, has a big, big joy. The universe, she says, blessed me and my husband with a new grandson and daughter-in-law on the same day. Colin his uncle Kevin and his aunt Alice share a birth date and a wedding date on 4/24/24. Congratulations, Adeline. We have two concerns and sorrows this morning. From Armando, his concern that Fresno County is facing a $41.9 million cut in aid to its poorest residences as Governor Newsom tries to cover the budget deficit, and also a concern that Fresno Unified School District is facing possible cuts to its ethnic studies program due to budget issues. And Veronica, who today is with our kids, but once was a kid in this sanctuary. She grew up here. And Veronica says something that I imagine is moving in many of our hearts. Veronica B. writes, "I have a sorrow that 54 years after the Kent State Massacre, we seem to have learned nothing. Student protesters are still being abused by police." We also pause to acknowledge the death of a longtime church member and social justice advocate. Usually I look out and there's Frank Jacobson sitting in his seat. Frank passed into the mysteries of death after a brief illness. He will be missed by all who knew him. We remember too our beloveds, those unable to be with us because of illness or mobility. We think of KP as she continues to grow stronger in physical rehab. Our beloved Sam Z, 101 years old and kicking. Bev F, Glenda R, and Pat M. We acknowledge for those of us who celebrate earth-based neo-pagan spirituality, yesterday was Beltane, a joy-filled celebration of fertility and the lush life of springtime. This week, as May dawned, we began celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, a time when we recognize the impactful, multifaceted contributions that Asian American and Pacific Islanders have made to this nation. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. Seeking professional help and taking medication are wise and healthy choices for so many of us and our loved ones. This upcoming Friday, May 10th, is Latin American Mother's Day, celebrated in Mexico and most Central and South American countries. Feliz Dia de las Madres. This week, we grieve as well the draconian law in Florida that as of May 1st, outlaws abortions after 6 weeks, well before most people realize they are pregnant. We know that this law disproportionately impacts marginalized and income insecure families. Most Unitarian Universalists believe abortion is health care and should be safely and easily be available for all. And last, as we have been doing now for 6 months, we grieve that Israeli hostages continue to be held and abused by the terrorist militia Hamas. We grieve that Palestinians in Gaza live amidst a deliberate humanitarian catastrophe with lack of food and water and needed medical aid. A UN official declared on Friday that northern Gaza, after 6 months of war, is now living in a full-blown famine. Our Board of Trustees and your minister have publicly called for an immediate and permanent ceasefire. For all of this, and for everything we hold in that sacred tenderness of our own hearts, we light our candle of community. Our call to meditation are some of the most profound words we sing together. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. We will meditate on these words 3 times. The first time, just imagine you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you are singing these words to yourself. The second time, to someone you know who needs to be touched by light and love, by prayer, by energy and hope. And then the third time, let's sing it for the interconnected web that is this planet and our shared existence. How could anyone?
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone ever notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
For our time of reflection and prayer, we're going to connect with our body in a very gentle way. I invite you to just hold your 2 hands in front of you and either look at them if you are able, and if not, just maybe let your 2 hands touch one another so that you can feel them. What color do you see in your 2 hands? What texture do you see in your 2 hands? What texture do you feel in your 2 hands? What history do you hold in your two hands? What hope do you hold in your two hands? May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I can change the world with my own two hands, make a better place with my own two hands, make a kinder place. Oh, with my own two hands, with my own two hands. Oh, with my own two hands. I can make peace on earth with my own two hands, and I can clean up the earth. Oh, with my own two hands. I can reach out to you with my own two hands, with my own two hands. Oh, with my own two hands. I'm gonna make it a brighter place.
With my own.
I'm gonna make it a safer place.
With my own.
I'm gonna help the human race.
With my own.
With my own two hands. Now I can hold you in my own two hands, and I can comfort you with my own two hands. But you got to use my own two hands. Use your own two hands. Oh, use your own.
With my own
two hands. And with my own two hands. Yeah, with my own two hands. Yeah, with my own two hands. I'm gonna make it a brighter place.
With my own
I'm gonna make it a safer place.
With my
I'm
own.
gonna help the human race.
With my own.
Oh, make it a brighter place.
With my
I can
own.
hold you and
With
I
my
can comfort you. But you got to use.
With my own.
Oh, use
With my own.
Use your own two hands.
Our reading comes from Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto. Reverend Soto is a poet and activist and uses they, them pronouns. In this community, we hold hope close. We don't always know what comes next, but that cannot dissuade us. We don't always know just what to do, but that will not mean that we are lost in the wilderness. We rely on the certainty beneath the foundation of our values and ethics. We are people who return to love like a North Star and to the truth that we are greater together than we are alone. Our hope does not live in some glimmer of an indistinct future. Rather, we know the way to the world of which we dream. And by covenant and the movement forward of one right action and the next, we know that one day we will arrive home.
Let's rise in body or spirit and sing about never turning back.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We're gonna keep on moving forward. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. We're gonna keep on loving boldly. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly, never turning back, never turning back. We're gonna grow in peace together, gonna go in peace together, go in peace together, never turning back, never turning back. Keep on serving proudly. Gonna keep on serving proudly. Keep on serving proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. We're gonna work for justice bravely. Gonna work for justice bravely. Work for justice bravely, never turning back, never turning back. We're gonna work driving forward, gonna work for looking forward, keep on moving forward, never turning back, never turning back. Never turning back, never turning back.
Woo. Let's hear it for Stolen Thunder. Our special guest is Paula Cole-Jones. Of Paula, Brock Leach writes, quote, "For most of the past 25 years, Paula Cole-Jones has devoted her considerable energies to working with church communities to increase their impact within Unitarian Universalism. She has authored and led numerous anti-racism and anti-oppression training programs, served on the National Unitarian Universalist Association Congregational Life staff, and formed a consultancy to help congregations live and reimagine themselves in a multicultural world." Brock Leach goes on to say, through all this work, Paula Cole-Jones began to recognize the existence of two different paradigms in Unitarian Universalist circles. On one side, the Unitarian Universalist 7 principles and the idea of a beloved community with deep multiculturalism, and on the other side, the truth that it was possible to be a good Unitarian Universalist, align with our principles, and yet not confront the reality of racism and other systemic oppressions. So, in 2017, together with Dr. Bruce Pollock-Johnson, Jones drafted a proposed 8th principle intended to bridge that gap. This new 8th principle invites us to begin, quote, "journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions, that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. This eighth principle makes anti-racism explicitly part of our Unitarian Universalist theology. Dismantling white supremacy culture becomes a religious imperative for all Unitarian Universalists. As of today, over 284 of our approximately 1,000 Unitarian Universalist congregations have officially adopted the eighth principle. Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno adopted it in 2022. And on this very day, at this very moment, the West Side Unitarian Universalist Church in Fort Worth, Texas, will vote to become the 285th congregation. We send them much love and support as they do so. So today, instead of a sermon, Paula and I are going to share a conversation. Because of time zone differences and the limits of technology, Paula and I recorded our conversation prior to today's service, and it has been lovingly edited for length. Please welcome Paula Cole Jones. In the time since the congregations have begun to discuss and adopt the eighth principle at that grassroots level, what changes have you already seen in Unitarian Universalism before it even gets up to the association level?
Yeah. So this is a very exciting time. It can be scary sometimes because anytime you're trying something new, right, you're going into new territory, there's a certain element of the unknown, and we're always, not always, but we're curious about, will people be open and accepting of this new idea? And then sometimes it's like the urgency and the power behind the idea is like, and we cannot afford to not do this work. So it's a very exciting time, and the eighth principle happens against a backdrop of many other things. So I want to make sure it's in its context because it didn't do the job by itself. It captures, the eighth principle captures what we have been working on for many, many years, but we hadn't quite figured out how to articulate it in a way that made it central, right, for congregations. And I like to think of it, it's like the eighth principle became for us a center of gravity. So in the center of gravity, it has the ability to kind of concentrate the energy and the resources and the power. We've been doing anti-racism and anti-oppression work for a long time, to various degrees, but we hadn't centered it as, like you said, as a part of our theological call. I think it was assumed, it was understood, but it wasn't named that way. The eighth principle named it, and in doing so, it gave us something to begin to really rally around, galvanize. And it has made a big difference. I would say the eighth principle is a compelling vision for our future. And it's compelling for many people who have not found Unitarian Universalism yet, or people who are beginning to see. If I came into a congregation, probably anywhere, but if I came into a UU congregation and I saw our principles, and the eighth principle was one of them, I would be so curious to know more about that community. And so in some ways, the eighth principle may speak more profoundly to people who are not yet Unitarian Universalism than it does to those of us who are already here. Yeah.
We as a congregation adopted the eighth principle 2 years ago, and like many congregations, there's the, okay, we want to live more fully into this vision, and there's no map. We struggle, and lots of congregations struggle and stumble, but you're offering sort of the next step in the conversation, but more than conversation, it really transforms into action. And this is your idea, your concept of shifting from a church family to the idea of a community of communities. What's the difference, and what will this community of communities bring into our congregations?
Yeah. So let's start with having adopted the eighth principle. By the way, congratulations. Thank you for your work on that. We adopted the eighth principle in the context of the existing organizational structure, right? Structure for church. And church is an institution, but let's think of it in terms of the church structure, which it functions, it works, but there are probably many parts of it that have not been examined, right? And for people who are already inside, it works, right? So you don't see perhaps where there may be limitations or challenges for new people to come and to find that sense of belonging. So we've adopted the eighth principle in the structures that were not designed to do what we are trying to do, right? We're not designed to do what we've been called to do. They were designed to maintain a set of values, a community, and they have done that. So, I'm not criticizing that. But the eighth principle and pluralism need a different space to be fully actualized. The existing church structure doesn't allow enough flexibility and opportunity for that to happen. In a community of communities setting, then our work is to look at and support the well-being of the communities. In the traditional church setting, it tends to lean largely towards the well-being of the individual members, right? It's a big difference. And so community of communities offers us a way to, one, to be more agile as a community, and that we can address maybe more needs or interests than we currently do. We can respond in ways that the whole system doesn't have to say, yes, we can respond, right? But the communities themselves, people in a community, one, I would say, know what their community needs are, and two, can design programming to meet those needs. It's kind of simple in a way, right? And so we can look at that. Let's take a look at our religious education programs, right? So the people in that community, parents, the children, the volunteers, and the professionals who deliver religious education programs and participate, have a greater sense of what the needs of that community are than many of us who sit in the pews, right? Not only do they have a sense of the needs, but they can also design programs to meet those needs. So what if we optimized that through the whole church system? So it's not just religious education, but there are many, many communities that really already exist in your congregation, but the congregation functions more along lines of individual interests and needs. And so the community of communities gives us a way of I want to say positioning pluralism. Pluralism, not just theological pluralism, which is very important, but also identity is a part of that pluralism. Age may be part of that pluralism. Interests. People come to congregations with specific interests. And so the community of communities is a way that we can optimize our sense of welcome and the sense of belonging of people who become a part of it.
You know, Paula, a recent example of that was some folks coming in and discovering our congregation in Unitarian Universalism, and their own personal spirituality is earth-based, pagan. And they came to us and said, we'd like to have an earth-based rituals group. And we were able to say, yeah, there's obviously a need for that. And within a month, they were meeting and celebrating together. So that kind of flexibility we have now, that this new community and bringing people who are coming on campus and seeing what we stand for. And maybe they're never going to walk in to the sanctuary on a Sunday. Maybe they will, but they found a community within this larger community. But it makes me wonder about this vision of becoming more a more diverse, welcoming congregation. So how do you see the congregation of congregations, community of communities, extending to perhaps a marginalized group that might not necessarily be part of a congregation yet? How does community of communities translate into a sense of safety, inclusion, and an invitation to belong?
Yeah. And so it's there already in some congregations. The diversity that we often think about when we think about diversity is already present. And in the community of communities context, you know, there are ways that people can come together, like I said, around common interests, common identity, and have experienced their church home or experienced their theological pluralism in the context of the UU community of people who share something very closely with them. I think one thing that I hear in your question, I think that we will see over time, is if people know that, well, let's say I may come to your congregation and maybe I'm really am interested in music and want to participate, you know, as part of the choir or something like that. And so that may be one of the things that draws me in. But then as a BIPOC member of your congregation, perhaps there's already a BIPOC group meeting or one that we can form. And so there's a community, two communities, right? Music and the BIPOC community, where I can find that sense of connection with other people and also a place where my interests can unfold. So it happens, some of it might happen over time, that you may not have some of those communities formed currently, but you can be mindful now, right, in ways of forming them. And there are a lot of different ways that we can think about that, because you also have the external community. And if you're thinking about programming, the programming might be something that you do in partnership with someone, a group that is not a part of the church, and the programming is something that is offered and inviting for people who would come. And so it's kind of a process. It'll be a growth process. We will evolve into it. But what's important is that we kind of break out of the mold of traditional church and so much centering around one common culture in the church. And instead, we really start to very deliberately, intentionally, look at ways that we can create spaces for that multiculturalism to exist in the larger community.
You mentioned breaking the traditional mold, and next month in June, Unitarian Universalism as a whole is going to be invited to break out of a mold that we've been loving and appreciating since the 80s, but over time, we're realizing that the way we were defining ourselves, presenting ourselves, was no longer relevant for many folks within Unitarian Universalism, especially younger folks. And also, we've heard from BIPOC members of Unitarian Universalism that some things needed to change. And so there's this very exciting possible transition from our 8 principles to 6 values, and the transformation of Article 2, the national bylaws. I've preached on it, and I'm actually going to preach on that in 2 weeks before the congregation votes on whether we want to endorse these changes. But I'm wondering just briefly, why do you believe this is the time to bring a new vision to how we define ourselves and understand and experience ourselves as Unitarian Universalists? Why should we vote yes for the changes in Article 2?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. It's very important to the future, to our place in the world. The current principles and sources and purposes that we have, during the period of the 80s, that's what people did. They were voting yes to our place in the world at that time. That was almost 40 years ago. So much has changed. 40 years ago, in 1984 and 85, and I use those 2 numbers because we have to vote 2 successive years on accepting that portion of the bylaws called Article 2, but we won't use that language, right? That process was led by women. The social landscape for women had changed. And we came back, I say we, I wasn't there, but we as Unitarian Universalists came back as we are instructed to do in our bylaws. Every 15 years, we're to take another look at this part of our bylaws that speak to our principles, our purposes, our identity as Unitarian Universalists. And they came back, and led by women, the language was changed to become more gender inclusive, or gender neutral. And if anyone were to go back and read the earlier principles, you would see quite a difference. That happened because the society that we live in had changed. And women's, our understanding of ourselves and the rest of society's understanding of women had changed. So these changes are opportunities for us to update. I consider the 8th principle an update, long overdue update. What we are proposing with Article 2 is an update. It captures what we've been up to in the last 40 years. And it gives us, again, a framework and a vision for how we can move into the next 10, 15, 20 years of Unitarian Universalist ministry. We, those of us who are here now, are different than those who were, our age 40 years ago, right? And in the next 20, 40 years, the world that younger people are growing up in, they're going to be different and see different things and different needs, not just in the wider world, but in terms of our spiritual community. And they'll have an opportunity also to make our, again, kind of, we refer to these as identity documents, but let's say to make our shared values relevant to the times in which they live. And I want to say this. I think it's absolutely brilliant that that instruction was written into the bylaws by earlier Unitarian Universalists. Absolutely brilliant. And we say revelation is never sealed, and we've created the context for us to live that out. That's what Article 2 is. It is a vision for us moving forward in the future.
Thank you for all your challenge. Thank you for all your vision.
Well, thank you. It has definitely been my pleasure to work with you and to work with your congregation, your church community. And I'm always excited to find Unitarian Universalists that are excited about this future that we get to co-create it. We co-create our reality, and we can make it the best possible.
May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
One, two, three.
La 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 la.
Hold on to me, don't let me go. Who cares what they see? Who cares what they know? Your first name is free, last name is dumb. We choose to believe in where we're from. Man's red flower, it's in every living thing. Mind, use your power, spirit, use your wings.
La 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 la.
Freedom, freedom. Hold on to me, ooh, don't let me go. The cheetahs need to eat, run antelope. Your first name is King, last name is Dove, 'cause you still believe in everyone. When a baby first breathes, when night seems to rise, when the whale hunts the sea, when man recognizes freedom, freedom, breathe in. We are from heat, the electric one. Does it shock you to see he left us the sun? Atoms in the air, organisms in the sea, sun and man are made of the same thing. Freedom, freedom, ooh, freedom, yeah, freedom, freedom.
excited that I got to serve today as worship associate. It's great being with you all here today. One of the core religious values of Unitarian Universalism is generosity. As Unitarian Universalists, we cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. As we are able, we will freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources with each other. As we are able, many of us make a yearly pledge of financial support to the church. We also can practice generously during each Sunday service by making special offerings. For others of us who don't have the ability to support financially, we share our time and our talent in other ways, knowing that those of us who are able to contribute a little extra for those of us that can't today. That is what it means to be a part of a beloved and generous community. We care for each other. In this spirit, please join me in our words of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Here's how you can make a financial contribution right now on our virtual campus. Or if you are on our Alluvial Avenue campus, you can always drop cash or a check into the basket on your way out of the sanctuary. Or you can share generously right now at this moment by using Cash App. May this church remain worthy of the many forms of our gifts. It has been wonderful sharing today's service with you. Let us remember these words from our chalice lighting penned by Tess Baumberger. This place would be less beautiful without you. Curious, inquisitive, asking questions, seeking transformation, emerging from within. As we prepare to end our service and enter into our afternoon, we're going to have some chalice extinguishing words led by Karen and Troy.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
We
extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Tim, I'm not sure, but I think you have a few reminders.
How did you know that, Jamie? First, let's hear it for Jamie, our worship associate. I want to thank Paula Cole-Jones for being with us this morning, but also yesterday 62 of us attended an incredible workshop with her where we explored the ideas that she shared this morning, and we'll continue that exploration online this Thursday. So let's show our appreciation. Paula Cole-Jones. We want to thank our extraordinary guest musical vocalist, Wachuku. And I personally want to thank Adeline, our board president, for all the hard organizational work you put to bring Paula Jones to us. So thank you, Adeline. Coming up on the stage is the world-famous Cecily, who is our coordinator of community life. If you are new and newish and you want to know how to get connected, Cecily is your go-to person. She hopes you might stop outside in the quad for coffee hour and say hello. We also have a question and answer table with a board member. You'll know which table that is because there's a big sign on it that says visitors. And today, after the service, so 12:30 for those who want to be part of it, it's our annual all-church picnic. Woo! We invite you to bring lunch to the picnic. There are going to be games. There's going to be the infamous pie contest, which means we all get to taste wonderful pies. And if you're here today and you forgot or you didn't even know you were supposed to bring lunch for the picnic, we have lunches for you, including some vegetarian options. So all you have to do is go up Alluvial Ave about a block to Railroad Park. We'll be there and we'll have some bagged lunches for folks who want to be part of it but did not bring a lunch. Next week, it is Mother's Day, but it is also our annual flower communion, one of our most beloved rituals of Unitarian Universalism. So bring a flower or two with you to church next week. And I give you full theological dispensation. If you need to pick that from your neighbor's yard, you are forgiven. The first of every month, we're supposed to remind one another how to exit the sanctuary if we have a fire. So for those who are able, we cross across the length of the church, go out the doors here, around the quad, through the garden, and then we end up at the big field next to the Buddhist temple. If you find yourself ending up in the parking lot, you will be squished by the fire truck when it arrives. So we need you to go to the far field by the Buddhist. For those of us who that journey would simply be impossible, we're going to exit through the front doors of the church, follow the sidewalk and the ushers, and they're going to take you, staying on sidewalk, to the front of the church office where you will be safe. So that's what that map is showing you. So I think that's it, except for our favorite part. If we like to welcome folks who are here for the first, second, or third time, we are genuinely glad that you chose to be here when you could have been outside in that sunshine. So if this is your first, second, or third time, would you take a moment just to rise so we can gently welcome you? We won't leave you standing alone for long. So 1, 2, third time, hooray! Welcome, welcome. It's wonderful to have you. Welcome, welcome. It's awesome. Welcome. Love to see you. We invite all the congregation to rise with them. If you feel comfortable, you can join hands for closing words or just place your hands over your beautiful human heart. Our closing words are adapted from words by Teresa Youngblood. In this moment, in the expansive affirmation of all creation, held in the embodiment of boundless love, may you turn and face the door, arms outstretched, to sing a wide welcome, the ever-changing song of togetherness to those who have yet to discover that they belong here. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
2, 3, 4.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.
2, 3, 4.